Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez, where we talk everything real estate. Today, my guest is Pam Butera of KW Bluebell and Cyberbackers. Pam, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Pat.
Great. Okay, so I always start off my shows by asking, you to tell your story. How did you get started in real estate? Was there anybody who, guided you and say, hey, real estate is the way to go? So, what's your story?
Okay, so I come from a family of realtors. My father was a realtor and my grandfather was a realtor. So I was around it all my life. So it was just natural that I went into the business. And then my mother was my full-time assistant for 18 years.
Okay. So it was definitely a family affair.
It was a whole family affair.
Now, did you start working, with your father or under your father as a team or anything? No?
No. It was best that way.
Right.
No.
Okay. And then your book of business,
Yes.
you primarily deal with listings or it's an even mixture, buyers, sellers? What does that look like?
I'm more focused on the sellers. I have another agent on my team who primarily focuses on buyers. So, and this year we're running 50-50.
Okay.
So, which has been nice.
Okay, great. And then, so you mentioned a team member, so it's just, It's you and one other team member?
Correct.
Okay, great. Okay, so, and then what is your footprint? Where are you primarily selling and your buyers coming from?
So we work the suburbs, mostly Montgomery County and the main line.
Okay.
Definitely do the city and the Jersey Shore.
Okay, so licensed PA in New Jersey.
Yes.
Then. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what one of the things that intrigued me, and we'll get a little bit back into the real estate part of it, but you mentioned that you have a VA, virtual assistant. So how did that start? How did somebody tell you, hey, this is the way to go?
Yes.
Tell me that story.
Okay, so I guess it was 2.5 years ago. I had one assistant and I was struggling. My team was bigger then, and my assistant was struggling. She was never getting the to-do list completed.
Right.
She would focus on working in the business, but not on it.
Right.
So it frustrated me. The marketing wasn't getting done like I wanted it to. So an agent in my office mentioned that she had a virtual assistant.
Right.
And hence here I am. So I hired a virtual assistant 2.5 years ago. I went all virtual with my team 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I haven't had an in-person assistant for 2 years, and I haven't regretted it for a day.
Okay, so then what are some, because I know a lot of realtors are searching to expand their business, to expand their footprint.
Yep.
And this could be a viable solution because
Yes.
I would imagine the cost would be a lot less. So
Yes.
so what does your VA, virtual assistant,
Yep.
What does is it a he or she?
Mine's a female.
A female. Okay. So what does she do? How does she streamline your business?
So, well, the first thing I should say is she created a procedures manual. It's 46 pages long. I did not have anything.
Okay.
I just flew by the seat of my pants, which has helped us to be streamlined in what we do. So, for example, we had a settlement on Monday.
Right.
She gets emailed the ALTA, which triggers her to do the after settlement procedure checklist.
Right.
Which is awesome. What I love the most is she sends it to me, this checklist with everything checked off. Because I'm a checklist person.
Right.
Right. And I don't get anything off of my to-do list until it's checked off kind of thing. So she created our procedures manual. So she does transaction coordination.
Right.
She also does all of our marketing. We send out a newsletter every other week. And prior to her joining the team, me hiring her, our open click rate was about 20 to 25%. We're consistently over 50% now.
Okay.
And I credit that to her because she gets all the content.
Okay.
Right. I give her some direction, but I love our newsletter. I do a little opening blurb with the paragraph.
Right.
And every time we send it out, it's new. It's got interesting content, which is why I think our open click rate is so high.
Okay. And then you're sending that newsletter out to your database?
There's about 3,700 people in
Okay.
that database. And then she does her social media.
Okay. Okay, so she's posting and doing all that kind
Yes.
of stuff and putting that all together for you. Now,
Yep.
are you review everything prior, or you
Yes, I
trust her so
do.
much now that
Well, so you mean that's probably where I should let some control go.
right?
But no, I do review everything, and she actually likes my input. So we're really like a well-oiled machine now that we've been working together so long. She understands my style. She understands how I like to language things, and it's really funny. So now she's like, "Hey Pam, I had to do some follow up the other day. I'm like, can you just send the emails, please?" And she sent it to me, and I wrote back. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you would have sworn I wrote this."
Right. Now,
So it's really neat.
now is she using ChatGPT,
Yes.
that kind of that really
Yes.
helps a lot. Yeah, exactly.
Totally
Oh, yeah,
helps.
because you just type in there and it creates emails, everything. So
Unbelievable.
yeah, it is truly.
I'm a fan.
every
I can't believe
every
it.
time I type something in and I just see it going, I just laugh.
Amazing.
And I've done it, 1,000
Yes.
10,000 times, and I'm just sitting there laughing every time I see
Yes.
it. It's incredible. Yeah, so
I agree.
that is amazing. That is amazing. Okay, so social media, your post closing checklist.
Yes.
What other type of stuff does your VA do?
So she sets up our clients in our system. So then, for example, if I need to write an agreement of sale, I can just jump in and write the agreement. I don't have to upload them into our system with their emails, and that's tedious for me.
Right.
She can write my agreement. We templated the agreement of sale. So if I complete the template, then she can actually write the agreement and send it to the client.
Okay.
A lot of the VAs do bookkeeping. I haven't had her do my bookkeeping yet, but I'm just sharing that so agents know that it's not just limited to what I'm telling you.
Right.
Another big resource is property management. A lot of our clients have their VAs handle their property management, which can be very cumbersome for an agent.
Right. Okay.
So there's some
There's
ideas.
a ton. Right. Okay. So then, so what was the procedure? What was the process? How did you find your VA?
Oh, that's a great question. So what I think is what I like about our process is you each candidate that's interviewing for the role of your VA, they present their resume, a video, and a personality assessment. So you review all of these before you actually have your Zoom call.
Right.
And you always have at least 5 candidates that you're going to interview. And then you also understand like what their experience is going to be, and they're tailored to because you create a job description.
Right.
So their personality has to match to the job description, right? So someone that does social media is probably not going to be the same person that's going to lead gen for you and make phone calls.
Right.
So then once you choose your cyberbacker, then they have a 10 business day training period, and they train your cyberbacker on all of your systems.
Okay.
For example, like if you use MailChimp or whatever your CRM is,
Right.
They train them on that. Now, I don't want people to think that you don't need to train them, because you do. You'll need to customize them to your systems. But in general, like I never had to, our CRM is called Wise Agent.
Right.
And my cyberbacker's name is Red. I never spent even a minute training her on that. She automatically knows how to do it all.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so now the next question is, what is the cost? So if I'm hiring somebody here to come in and work in my
Yes.
office as a transaction
Yes.
coordinator, whatever,
Right.
versus this. So,
Okay,
what
so
numbers look like?
we have part-time virtual assistants are $1,000 a month for 20 hours a week, and full-time is 40 hours a week, and that's $1,500 a month. And then there's a hiring fee, a one-time hiring fee of $750.
Okay, so we're talking about 1,000 for 20
Part-time.
hours a week, part-time,
Yes. Mhm.
15 for the a full week.
Full-time.
Full-time. Okay.
Yeah, full-time.
So 1,500 full. Yeah, sure. Because if you hire anybody, you're looking, 30,
lot
40,
more.
$50,000. Yeah.
Lot more.
Okay. So that would be a little bit different. And then with that, you don't have to pay Social Security. You don't have to pay unemployment. You don't have to do, all that
Yep.
kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Now, let's jump into how did you get started with Cyberbackers? Because Cyberbackers is you tell us what it
Franchise.
is. Yeah.
So I guess I had my full-time VA for over a year, and I got an email that said, "Hey, we're franchising. Are you interested?" And I immediately responded and said I was, because one of the things that I think is so great about Cyberbacker is their back end is
Right.
so well run. And the founder, I should say, he's based out of Utah.
Okay.
And he is a Keller Williams agent as well as a Keller Williams coach. So the cyberbackers are very Kellerized.
Right.
It's not that they couldn't work with other companies, but they've been really trained on the Keller Williams systems.
Okay.
So that's how I got started in it.
Okay. So, and now you have the franchise. Now, how many people are in this area? You have the only franchise in this area, or what's that
Yes.
look like?
So it's by territory. So I have the 5-county
Okay.
area, and then the rest of the state is another agent who that's her territory. So PA is locked up.
Okay.
Jersey's available. There's 43 franchises total. You do need to be an influencer. You need to be pretty well respected in your region in order for them to even consider you as
Right.
in purchasing a franchise. If anyone's thinking about that.
Right. Okay, so you have the franchise. So if anybody out there is thinking about hiring a VA, you're the person
Yes.
to talk to because you'll be able to coordinate and do all that for them. Outsource. And then most of the VAs are coming from Philippines.
Oh yeah, so that's a great point. So they're all based in the Philippines, and everyone's always like, "Well, what are their hours?" You decide what hours. Mine work 9 to 5,
Okay.
and they show up early every day. It's really, I mean, find it amazing. So
Okay, great. Okay, so that's the VA and how you got started. You have the
yes,
franchise in the area. So that's super, super interesting. What else? Did I miss anything? What else should we? What other businesses?
Oh,
Because
right.
it's just not for
It's not
realtors,
just for
right? So
realtors, correct. So we service the mortgage industry. Insurance is another big one. Attorneys are starting to catch on. The financial industry, not so much, but they see the value of it. So I'm not sure if we'll break through there. Construction business, they're understanding us. Bookkeeping, we have a couple of clients that have their own bookkeeping businesses. Let me think of what else. Contractors are starting to catch on. The one thing that I should mention is that you can share a cyberbacker. So if you don't think you can keep them busy for 20 hours a week and you have a friend
Okay.
that could use the VA 10 hours a week, the two of you can then get together and have a cyberbacker.
Okay.
I wanted to mention that. We have over 3,600 cyberbackers working in the US. And on a weekly basis, we get about 15,000 applicants, and we hire less than 1%, because that's another thing that I believe cyberbacker really excels at. Their English is really good, their grammar is really good, and they're looking for workhorses.
Right.
So we don't hire everyone, which I think is an advantage.
Right. Right. Okay. So, in your opinion, not to be, influenced because you have a franchise, but if you were an agent, having a virtual assistant,
Yeah.
a VA is a no-brainer
To
in your
me, it
business,
is.
right?
I mean, so like I said, my mother was my assistant for 18 years, right? And I love my mother. Working with my mother every day. There were certain days it was amazing, and other days she was my mother, right?
Right.
So when you work with the VA, it's like there's no drama.
Right.
And they just charge my credit card once a month. It's easy.
Right.
And the other thing, I don't know if people understand the Filipino culture, but they're very loyal. They're very family oriented. They're dedicated. And almost on a daily basis, Reg, my VA, is always saying, "Okay, Pam, I came up with this new idea. But take this up."
Right.
She's always trying to help us and to grow and do more, which is amazing to me. And that's their mindset and that's their culture. And the other thing, too, is over 50% of our cyberbackers are college educated,
Okay. Good.
which is really unusual.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, when we spoke and you mentioned about the VA, I just thought it was, a great topic because I have a little bit of, information on it because
Yeah.
I was looking into it myself.
Yeah.
But I just thought it would be a great topic. So, thanks
Yeah,
for
thank
sharing
you.
that. And if somebody wants to get a hold of you or, buy, sell real estate because you
Yes.
are a realtor, or if they're looking for a VA, how would they get a hold of you?
So my cell is 215-205-8130, and the email is greaterphilly@cyberbacker.com.
Okay, great. Once again, thanks for being on the
Thank
show.
you.
Great. Okay, that's the Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez, where we talk everything real estate. Be sure to follow the show on Facebook and Instagram and leave a comment below. Really, leave a comment below, subscribe. I want input. I want information. All ideas are good ideas, and you never know. You may be sitting right here and I may be talking to you. So absolutely leave a comment. Remember, this show's everything real estate, no limits. Hope you enjoyed the show.